The room fell silent the moment the words left his mouth. Not because they were loud or dramatic, but because they were so small, so fragile, that they seemed to crack something invisible in the air. All he wanted was to see his balance. Not fame, not charity, not sympathy. Just the number on a screen. The millionaire across the counter laughed softly, the kind of laugh that comes from never having to worry about numbers shrinking. She did not know that within seconds, that screen would change both of their lives forever. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of people who keep going when life keeps taking, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this matter because people like this exist. His name was Adam Hale, and at 36, life had already taken more from him than most people face in a lifetime. He was a single father raising a 7-year-old daughter named Lily in a cramped one-bedroom apartment above a closed-down grocery store. The paint peeled like old scabs, the radiator knocked through winter nights, and the stairs smelled of dust and regret. But every morning, Adam woke before sunrise, packed Lily's lunch with careful precision, and braided her hair the best he could with hands that were better at lifting boxes than styling ribbons. He worked 2 jobs, one as a night warehouse loader and another as a daytime delivery driver. Sleep came in fragments, like spare change. Hope came even less often. The bank visit was not planned. It was forced by necessity, by a letter stamped in red that warned of an overdraft, by a medical bill from Lily's asthma attack the month before, by a red notice taped crookedly to his door. Adam had never been good with numbers, but he knew when life was bleeding him dry. He stood in line wearing a faded jacket that still smelled faintly of cardboard and oil, holding Lily's small hand while she hummed softly, unaware of the storm pressing against her father's chest. The bank itself was a different universe. Marble floors reflected ceiling lights like frozen stars. Glass walls revealed offices with leather chairs and quiet confidence. This was a place where money did not apologize for existing. Adam felt it immediately, that familiar tightening in his stomach, the awareness that he did not belong. He stepped forward when his turn came, voice low, shoulders slightly bent, as if bracing for impact. Across from him stood Eleanor Whitmore, a woman whose name alone carried weight in financial circles. She was a self-made millionaire, a venture capitalist known for sharp instincts and sharper boundaries. To her, the bank was an extension of her living room. She had stopped by to finalize paperwork for a new investment, her mind already moving to the next deal, the next win. When she noticed Adam, it was only because his presence disrupted the smooth rhythm of her morning. Adam asked for help checking his balance. There was nothing dramatic about the request, nothing demanding. Just a tired man wanting clarity. Eleanor, distracted and impatient, let out a small laugh, not cruel, but careless. To her, checking a balance was a meaningless act. Numbers were always there for her, always growing, always obedient. What she did not see was the weight behind Adam's request. She did not see the nights he skipped dinner so Lily could eat. She did not see the envelope of rejection letters from better-paying jobs. She did not see the spreadsheet he kept on his phone, tracking every dollar with the desperation of someone trying to keep water out of a sinking boat. For Adam, that balance was not a number. It was a verdict. The teller turned the screen toward him, and the world seemed to narrow to a single glowing rectangle. Adam leaned in slightly, heart pounding so hard he thought Lily might hear it. Eleanor glanced over absent-mindedly, expecting to see what she had seen countless times before. A low number, a quiet disappointment, nothing worth remembering. Instead, the room shifted. The balance displayed was not negative. It was not empty. It was shockingly, impossibly high. Enough to erase debt. Enough to change futures. Enough to stop time. Eleanor frowned, stepping closer, convinced there had been a mistake. Adam did not move. He could not. His breath caught somewhere between relief and disbelief. His fingers tightened around Lily's hand as if the ground beneath him might disappear. What neither of them knew yet was how that money arrived. Years earlier, Adam had been a different man. Not rich, not powerful, but hopeful. He had worked as a mechanic, skilled and respected, saving slowly for a future with his wife, Sarah. They dreamed modestly. A small house. A yard for children. Stability. Then came the accident. A late-night drive. A drunk driver. A phone call that shattered everything. Sarah was gone, and Adam's life split into before and after. In the months that followed, Adam found a wallet on the roadside near his shop. Inside were credit cards, identification, and a check worth more than Adam earned in a year. He tracked down the owner, returning everything without hesitation. The owner was an elderly man, frail but grateful, who tried to reward Adam. Adam refused. He said he had already lost too much to take what was not his. That man was Eleanor Whitmore's father. She had forgotten the story. Or perhaps she had never truly heard it. Her father had passed years ago, leaving behind wealth, influence, and a handwritten note in his files. A note that mentioned a mechanic with honest eyes who returned a lost fortune when he had every reason not to. Eleanor, sorting through old documents months earlier, had instructed her legal team to find the man. To repay a debt her father believed mattered more than money. The transfer had been completed quietly, anonymously, delayed by bureaucracy and lost among larger transactions. Adam never received a call, never a letter. Just a sudden change in his account. As Eleanor stared at the screen, recognition struck her like a physical blow. She remembered the name, she remembered the story, and she remembered laughing just moments ago. For the first time in years, Eleanor felt something unfamiliar rise in her chest. Not pride, not control, shame. Adam did not celebrate. He did not shout or cry. He simply closed his eyes and let the tension drain from his shoulders. Lily looked up at him, confused but smiling, sensing something good had happened. Adam knelt down, resting his forehead against hers, breathing in the scent of her shampoo, grounding himself in the reality that this was real. That day did not turn Adam into a different person. It allowed him to remain the same one without drowning. He paid the bills first. All of them. The medical debt, the rent, the overdue utilities. He fixed the brakes on his car. He bought Lily a warm coat without calculating what he would give up in return. He reduced his hours, slept a full night for the first time in years, and showed up to Lily's school play without dark circles under his eyes.